Hey everyone, welcome to Motherhood Decoded, podcast for the moms. This week's article is coming from LMC contributor Brittany Patterson, and this is a mama that I have a huge amount of love and respect for. She wrote a post, "Life is better than the alternative." So on our theme of self-care, here is Brittany's post. My youngest was born 3 years ago. About a month after he was born, I noticed myself having a lot of depression along with a lot of rage. I chalked it up to the C-section I had and the lack of sleep, thanks to a newborn and a toddler. I was home a lot by myself and things just felt like they were piling up. So I packed up my car and went to stay with my parents for a while. If I am being honest, I think it was because I was scared to be home while my husband was working long hours. One day I was sitting in my parents' house, holding my crying baby and listening to my toddler play in the other room. I started to cry. I mean, really cry, or sob, if you will, and this went on for several hours. I looked at the clock every couple of minutes, hoping that hours had gone by. I was also watching the clock because my mom comes home from her lunch break, and I didn't want her to see me in the state I was in. I knew just when she would get off and how long it took her to come home. So a few minutes before she was to get off, I washed my face and put on what I thought was a brave face. I acted like I was totally okay while she was home. I ate lunch, rocked my baby, talked with my mom, and fed my toddler. Then the door shut and she went back to work, and I went back to sobbing. I felt like such a failure. The negative thoughts consumed me. At some points in the day, I wasn't even sure I was going to keep breathing because the amount of weight on my chest seemed to get heavier and heavier. Now that may sound extreme, but to be honest, the amount of panic and depression I had was rather intense. Then my toddler went down for a nap, and it was almost time for my baby to sleep. So I thought, here comes my break. I can do this. That thought was wrong. My toddler did sleep, but my baby just screamed and screamed and screamed. I was so angry. I was overwhelmed. I was so confused as to why this was bothering me so much, and I knew I needed to put my baby somewhere safe. So I did. I put him in a portable crib, and I put him in another room. I shut the door. Then I sat on the couch, pulled my knees to my chest, and rocked myself. I'm not sure how much time went by, but I remember rocking myself and focusing so hard on my rocking that I actually tuned out my baby crying. Now, you might be thinking I'm a bad mom for doing this, or you may be thinking something else negative, but I'm here to tell you it was truly the best thing for me and my baby in that moment. I will say, Brittany, I applaud you. That is hard. I've been there when my kid was 2. I was having really terrible thoughts. I wasn't sleeping. She wasn't sleeping. I was having really bad thoughts about hurting her. And I knew I had to get help. And I went to see my doctor. And I got on medicine for anxiety and to help me actually get some proper rest. And it did wonders. But it's hard to take that first step and do what you have to do to take care of yourself and recognize that you've got to keep your baby safe sometimes from yourself, which is terrifying. But again, you're not alone. I was in such a dark place, and I knew that if I didn't get help, it would only get worse. So I mustered up the courage to call my OB's office. The shame I felt pushing that button to call was so overwhelming, the tears started again when my OB said, "Hello, how can I help you?" I was silent, other than the sniffles that came from my crying. My OB said, "You are so brave." Again, I stayed silent, but I thought to myself, how can she say that? She doesn't even know why I'm calling. I sat silent for a few more seconds and then said, "I need help." Even writing this or reading this, my chest tightens because I know what I felt in that moment. I felt that I was going to be judged or deemed an unfit mother. I felt that I was going to be told that I was unfixable or unworthy of care or too far gone. What she said was the exact opposite, though. She said, "You are so brave. You are going to get through this, and you did what was best in this moment." I won't ever forget that day because that's when healing began. As I sit here today, I can tell you that healing is still happening. I can also tell you this journey has been hard and that there's been so many setbacks. I have tried several medications and nothing has worked. Each time a medication doesn't work, I go through a period of being upset, feeling like full healing will never come, and sometimes feeling like being here is harder than the alternative. I've had one of those setbacks recently, and it's been hard. It's been hard to tell myself to keep going. And some days are so dark emotionally that I don't even want to leave my bed. But I keep going because people depend on me. There are kids to take care of, food to make, bills to pay, and errands to run. Today I ran an errand with my kids, and as I pulled the grocery cart up to our car, I noticed some writing on the window of the car next to me. Life is better than the alternative, is what it said. I took a deep breath as my kids screamed at each other and refused to buckle up because I needed to find that special toy they dropped on the van floor. I said to myself, life is better than the alternative. I repeated it to myself a few times as the last 3 years flashed through my mind. So that's my message for you today as well, because I know I'm not the only one who struggles, and I know it's something we all need to be told. Life is better than the alternative. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you like this content, make sure to click the like button, share with a friend, and hit the bell to subscribe and be notified when we have new stuff to share. Doesn't cost anything, so why not? Thank you, Brittany, for being so brave and for being willing to share that. It needs to be talked about. This is not an easy thing to be a mom or sometimes to even just be a person. And it's exacerbated when you struggle with mental health and depression and anxiety. So talking about it is better for all of us. It takes away that shame and lets us know that we are brave. So thank you, Brittany. Lots of love. Scan the QR code to be taken to our site and see all the new stuff that we put out every week. I was recently gifted a box of Magic Mind. It is a wonderful little bottles, kind of like shot size, of magic ingredients that help you stay focused and be more productive without the caffeine rush. So I've been taking it alongside my coffee. It's nice because you don't get the jitters of pounding caffeine, but with having a family and pets and work, it is sometimes hard to stay energized. So taking it has been great for a couple different reasons. Taken alongside my coffee, I've had less coffee that I've needed to take, and also I've been sleeping better at night and sleeping more deeply. So we've got a cool discount code if you guys want to check it out. But I just want to go over some of the magical ingredients. There's matcha, which my teenage daughter is obsessed with. And there's also lion's mane mushroom that I had been reading a lot of benefits about and was kind of a little tentative about which kind I was going to try. Been doing all this research, so the fact that it was already in this blend was cool, and I got to try out the benefits. I also have type 1 diabetes, so the added benefit for me has been some tighter blood sugar control. If that is something you are interested in, it's definitely been good for me. There's several other ingredients. Some of them are a little hard to pronounce. And if you can see the cat and dog down here, they broke into the basement. So we're just going to let them enjoy being part of this episode. Then for your link and discount code, if you want to try it out yourself, you can go to magicmind.com/Jan, short for January, Motherhood Decoded. And this will get you 1 month for free if you subscribe for 3 months. And if you use code Motherhood Decoded, it's an extra 20% off, which gets you up to 75% off to try it for yourself. This is only through the end of January 2024. So Happy New Year, and let's all be productive together.